Which phone is the best content creation camera phone in 2020 on a budget? So short answer, in my opinion, if you factor in the budget, it could very well be last year's Samsung S10 series, which we're filming on right now. And if you want to hear the long answer, just stick around with me and let's talk about it. So everything today is filmed in 4K at the Samsung S10e. I'd rather have the S10 or the S10 Plus, but hear me out. So 2019 got me super excited for camera phones because they implemented all these ultra wide angle lenses and the zoom lenses, and they just made camera phones way more versatile. Also, the quality improved by quite a bit. So I'm just dreaming about having that perfect phone that can do it all, because you just have your phone in your pocket, you have it at all times with you, and if they get the quality right, what's the point of owning and lugging around a huge camera? But now 2020 came around and it is July already, and so far this year I'm kind of disappointed by the camera performances and upgrades that all the companies did so far. About a year ago in 2019 I got deep into comparing phones and which one would be the best one for me as a content creator for YouTube to make videos with. I was looking into it, are they good enough even? And to my conclusion, yes they are. I narrowed it down in 2019 between a Samsung S10 and a Huawei P40 Pro. And in the end I decided to go with a Samsung because the audio seemed a lot better on the Samsung without any external microphones. Also the wide angle lens seemed a little better, there was better slow motion. It was a tough call, but in the end I think the S10 is just a better all-around package than the P40 Pro was. Speaking of audio before, let's just do an audio test. Right now I'm using a lavalier mic, it's the Rode SmartLav Plus, and this is what it sounds like with the lavalier mic attached directly into the phone. And if I unplug that, just take a second and hopefully still record the audio. So this is the audio directly from the Samsung S10. This is what it sounds like, and it should sound pretty okay. There's not much wind going on right now. And if I plug the lavalier mic back in, it should be picking up again. Now we're back on the lavalier mic and it should sound a little bit better in theory. So I'm a huge fan of the super wide angle lenses. I think it's great if you can bend reality a little bit, and you can do that by either using super wide angle lenses or super long lenses, aka zooming in a lot. I think for videos it's just nice to see these different extremes because it switches up the super normal look. And the Samsung lens is super wide. I think it's 123 degrees field of view, which should be like a 12mm equivalent or something like that. And maybe if I switch to the main lens for a second, this is what the main lens looks like. The quality should be quite a bit better, but it's also, I think it might be too tight for vlogging. I have it on a medium-sized tripod actually, so this might still be okay. But if you do a lot of vlogging, or you're in a tight city or in just tight spaces, in a restaurant trying to film food and all that stuff, you basically want your lens as wide as possible. Excuse me up there. So a super wide lens or the ultra wide lenses for vlogging is super important. As soon as the sun sets, the lighting isn't that good, or even just going indoors, you can pretty quickly see that the quality of the ultra wide lens falls apart, and that is unfortunate. So 2020 came along, and what I was hoping for is for the camera production companies to better their secondary and tertiary lenses, aka the wide lenses and the zoom lenses. But unfortunately, that seemed not to happen this year. First, Samsung came out with their S20 series, and I'm pretty big, not only disappointed, but also a little bit angry. First of all, the cameras did not seem to get a big upgrade. If you look at various camera comparisons on YouTube, between the S10 series and the S20 series, there's really little difference between the wide lenses and the normal lenses. Yes, the zoom capabilities might be way better, especially with the Ultra, but then there were even a lot of problems with like the autofocus on the S20s are not working properly. And the big thing that annoys me is that Samsung decided to screw basically everybody who's not living in North America and not getting the Snapdragon CPU, but the Exynos versions. And there are tests out there that show that the Exynos versions are so much worse this year, and you're paying the same amount of money, and it kind of feels like Samsung is scamming me. So I'm all about boycotting getting the S20 series in Europe at all. And even if you happen to live in North America, in the US, and get your hands on a Snapdragon version, I don't even think it's worth upgrading from the S10 series to the S20 series because the camera differences are so little. Then another budget contender kind of appeared with the Xiaomi Mi Note 10, which was only like $500 when it released, and the camera seemed to have pure moments of excellence. However, looking deeper into comparisons, I found out again that the internal microphone of the Mi Note 10 kind of sucked, and also that the ultra-wide lens was not the best one. So just for the great main sensor and worse audio quality, I didn't think it was worth going for the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 either. The one company in the video department that had to seemingly have it all going for it was unfortunately Apple with the iPhone 11, especially the Pro version, because that only has the zoom lens. And if you just want to use your phone as your only content creation tool, I would definitely say go for a triple camera setup, because I kind of regretted going with the S10e, which does not have the zoom lens. And as I said before, switching it up is just nice. So the iPhone 11 Pro, even from 2019, seemed to be the best one when it came to video recording. But unfortunately, you have to be a fan of the iOS system, and I am definitely not. I also think it's way overpriced. I even considered switching to an iPhone 11. Well, here are all the crickets. But I think it's way overpriced, and I'm not willing to buy into Apple's ecosystem and also make my workflow way harder than it has to be. I think in that regard, it's definitely worth going with an Android phone, and you just usually get the better bang for your buck. So then the Huawei P40 Pro seemed to get it all right, and I think it might be the best video and camera phone overall at the moment. Everything looks amazing from that phone. However, the freaking big deal breaker, and thank you to Mr. Trump, Huawei does not support the Google apps anymore. And I know that has nothing to do with the content creation tool, but I mean, I'm still using my phone as a phone, and basically everything that I use it for is Google Maps. They just make your day easier. And Huawei not having the Google support unfortunately killed that phone for me. So I think that might be the best camera phone. It's also pretty expensive. It might have been worth it, but without the Google support, nope, deal breaker. So another phone that I would love to own from a phone standpoint would be a OnePlus 8, because OnePlus just gets it right with the phone usability. It's a clean operating system, the phones are super fast, they look good, but they unfortunately lag a little bit in the camera department. So I'm not completely sure how good the OnePlus 8 Pro's super wide angle lens is, but as far as I saw from comparisons, it cannot really compete with the top dogs at the moment. So all these phones I just talked about are pretty expensive. They are the flagships of each manufacturer. And I do not think any of those are worth the upgrade from last year's Samsung S10 series. So what does that leave us with? I mean, there are a lot of mid-range phones out there, and they're releasing left and right. I can't even get the overview of all the Xiaomi related Redmis and Mi 9T and Mi 10T, and then Mi 9cc Pro, Mi Note 10, then the Xiaomi 10 Pro release, also pretty good, but super expensive. It's just such a jungle out there, and I don't think anything in the mid-range, like $500, can't even compete, because they cut corners. They mostly have amazing main lenses, but then the ultra-wides suck, or they even skip on the zoom lenses. Like, I'm pretty excited for this new OnePlus Nord or OnePlus 8 Nord, I don't even know right now, which releases like in a week or so. And that seems to be an amazing mid-range phone, but it does not have a zoom lens at all. They have a crappy macro lens on there. I don't know why they did that. Probably just to call it a triple or quadruple camera system. But then the ultra-wide lens on the OnePlus Nord is not the one they use on the OnePlus 8. It goes down from 16 to 8 megapixel, which is not a bad thing. But since it's a half-price phone compared to their flagship, I'm just assuming they're gonna cut corners, but I might even try that one out, because aside from the missing zoom, and if the ultra-wide is okay, that thing might be a budget contender. And the only really interesting one on the horizon for me at the moment might be the Google Fi. I don't know what they're gonna do, I haven't looked into that much, but I hope they implement a ultra-wide and a zoom lens, and I hope they get it right. It might be a good phone because the Google Pixel itself, clean OIS, everything, good phone in itself. It just needs to be a better content creating video tool. All right, so where does that leave us? If you're looking to start making videos, or you want just a phone that is good for content creation, aka video, I mean, all phones take good pictures, so we should really focus on the video aspects. Then my suggestion is do not buy any of those phones that I discussed. I think that a couple of them have slightly better video capabilities than the S10, but considering in the factor, the budget, then this is the one. Just go on like Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Craigslist, whatever is there, and look for a 1-year-old used Samsung S10. Go look at it. If it's in good condition, if everything works, you should get a super good content creation phone for about maybe $400, $500. I would also recommend do not go with the S10e, the one that I have, because it's missing the zoom lens. It just gives you more flexibility having 3 different lenses. I also think the normal S10 is not much more expensive than the S10e when it comes to used ones, or even get a refurbished one. And then for $400 or $500, you should be good to go. And we can just hope that 2021 will be a better year when it comes to cameras on phones, because 2020 really seemed to be the year of, I don't know, higher refresh rates on displays. I mean, it's nice, but it's really not needed. So yeah, we were filming on the S10e all the time at 4K 30 frames per second. Let me know, do you like the look of it? I have to look at it myself now. Do you like the colors? It's super vibrant, that's sure. We used the ultra wide angle lens most of the time. I can switch back to the main lens again. This would look like that and should be better quality. And I will leave you with just a couple of montage clips, B-roll clips, see what I can find here. So you can check out the video quality a little bit more. I'm looking for the perfect phone, the perfect camera phone, content creation, because as I said in the beginning, it would be so nice to just have the perfect tool in your pocket and not lug around a huge camera. I'll leave you with some clips. See you in the next video. Bye.